Hello everybody, welcome right back. Our afternoon and evening of games does continue, to no one's surprise. I'm Palidore, joined by Palidore, joined by Palidore on cams and casting. But welcome to the stream. Good to have you all here. We have ourselves our second match for Genesis, a double header, about 30 minutes separating the two matches. Coming off the loss against Team Flare, who of course, very tough team for Genesis and for any other team. They've been just handing other ones defeats left and right. But now moving on to this one, Genesis trying to rebound against another tough team for sure in Orbit. Orbit coming in here, looking strong off a win against Instinct the other night. It's a really good game for them. They completed it in 2 rounds, 30-12 across the total differential in those 2 rounds. So Orbit coming hot off that win and looking to just keep on rolling. But for Genesis, they're going to give them their best shot. And actually looking like, too, we do have a substitute. It's Hasko, who just rolled on in onto Genesis's side. It's always a little bit of a tongue twister. Genesis's side. But yeah, so getting ready to start soon. The teams have been pinged already. Everyone is in the arena, so we're about ready to start off here. But thank you everyone for joining us today. And by us, I mean, well, me right now, just me. And these other 8 players. Hasko coming in here, obviously a very experienced, longtime player and one of the quintessential subs this season so far. She's had a healthy dose of substitute games coming in at last minute a lot of times, honestly, for some of these teams. So sounds like at the moment the players just discussing or trying to get Hasko in perhaps private comms in a Discord channel or something or other. So might be another couple of minutes here before we do get started. But won't be too long. Now for Orbit, again, they're coming off hot on that victory against Instinct. Kind of a surprising game. Not in the sense that Orbit won. That's not a surprise necessarily. I could have seen either team winning that one. It was just two very strong teams. But I was surprised by the differential. Orbit really just started piling on the points there and really held Instinct to a lower than expected score output. Maybe part of that was, Instinct just having an off game, but part of that certainly the fact that Orbit was having an on game. And Orbit's kind of similar to Flare in that regard, where they're winning games against these very strong, master, gold, high silver teams, what have you. And sometimes it takes people off guard. I think less so these days, the more deep we get into this season and after preseason and their performances as well. I think people are less and less surprised to see teams like Orbit and Flare winning the games they do. But of course, it's one of those situations where it's not going to be an overnight kind of thing, turning opinion. It's one thing for me to say it. I'm usually reasonably confident in what I say just because I'm casting so many of these games. I'm seeing literally hundreds now of these matches, but for most people, understandably, they can't be tuning into every single match. So sometimes they'll look at roster lists or they'll look at win records and things like that, and they'll have a certain opinion in their head. And then they come onto the streams, especially on the weekends when things do get pretty popular across these channels, especially. I mean, like right now we're having a double cast over on VRML 1. There's a game going on. But point is, people will come onto these busy weekends, these busy streams, and they'll get a look at it and say, oh, this team should have it easy. And then, lo and behold, you have Orbit, or teams like Orbit, like Flare, like Instinct even, honestly, just coming in and really impressing. So contesting those kind of gold area spots, gold or high silver. For Genesis, they're trying to do just that as well and start building their name up. They did lose the game earlier on, 30 minutes ago, against, again, that aforementioned Flare, so definitely not anything to knock them for whatsoever. But yeah, Genesis is another one of those teams a bit new here to the league. Also dealing with a substitute situation. A good substitute, but a substitute no less, and chemistry is always going to be one of those factors. But here it goes. So Orbit over on the blue side. It's Sneaky Evil, One Scoop, Blenders, and Zenith. Over on Genesis, orange side, it'll be Caden, Knife Rich, H Money, SD, and Hasko. Subbing in. Going on the offense for Orbit here as we get underway in this first round. We'll be up top to Sneaky. Sneaky gonna dive down and go to town on that goal. Here's the first two, about 30 seconds in for Orbit. Assist by Zenith. Flaming Flamingo in the chat saying this is gonna be a good game. Always the hope, for sure. Every single game we come into, especially as casters or as viewers, always crossing our fingers for those 3-round victories. You know, I'm not allowed, as some screams go out, I'm not allowed to have my biases, and really I don't. Right there, nice goal from Caden, just on an open goal. How about that one? I was gonna say, I'm not, as a caster, I'm not allowed, quote unquote, to have biases, but honestly, I really don't anyway. I mean, there are obviously players I have more personal relationships with, and I've met them in real life, things like that. But end of the day, when I'm in the casting booth, all I really ever want to see is a good game. I don't, as long as we get entertainment and good competition, that's fine by me. I'm excited to see any good play from either team. But over here, Sneaky Evil coming through. And going to One Scoop now. One Scoop for the oop. Actually, Zenith may be taking that one too at the last second. Either or, it's a score, and up by 1 point now for Orbit. Taking a look as well, just speaking of biases and favoring. Orbit is favored here fairly heavily on the connoisseur vote, if nothing else. For those not familiar, the connoisseur vote on the VRML website, essentially the fan vote or the player vote, so people can kind of bet on who they think is going to win. And a pretty heavy favor, almost unanimously, as that shot goes into the goal for another 3. Sneaky, all by his lonesome. But yeah, so players generally favoring Orbit for this one, but that's not to say upsets can't happen, because they do. In fact, we saw one earlier today. Illuminati versus Kangorillas, for instance. That game, connoisseur vote heavily favored Kangorillas, and yet they lost in 2 rounds. Now, they were both extremely close rounds, only a few points separating the Illuminati and Kang by the end of it, but yeah, upsets definitely occur. So, and as I mentioned too, it's also a situation where people will kind of vote based on just preconceived notions at times, based on record or rosters, things like that, because everyone can't be watching every game all the time. But definitely Orbit is one of those teams, that have built their name up over the last few months now. They were a new team in preseason for VRML, and they just impressed and have continued to do so the further we go into this league. You know, they play like a team that's been together for a lot longer than they have. Because you look at some of the top spots on both regions, where you have teams like Phantoms, a.k.a. Backlash, Ouroboros, what have you, as Blenders really just wasting the time, waiting for the pressure to come, and there it is. Then over here, on North America's side, of course, you have Kangorillas and Illuminati. New team, but obviously players who've been on top teams before. So you kind of have this expectation that, yeah, those teams they have high chemistry, they've been together for a while, they're experienced players, they're going to be on top of their game. And then you come into the league, and you're seeing so many teams, really kind of dark horses, really impressing, taking wins. Orbit is one of those teams. Genesis is trying to get there. But yeah, you have Instinct, you have Flare. It's just a lot of tight competition. No, it's never a guarantee anymore who comes ahead in a game. And right there, coming ahead for the point, Zenith. After 1 minute and 45 seconds, that was a very slow series of plays. Hence the conversation I'm having with you guys right now. But yeah, definitely not prioritizing scoring where they don't have to for Orbit, and that's what they'll do. They know how to control the flow of gameplay and the rhythm in their favor, and really just catch other teams they play against in all kinds of disarray, because they play in a way that almost bugs teams sometimes, whether it's the slow play or the deep backfielding that you have Blenders doing, catching intercepts over and over. Just the things they do tend to bother people, and understandably. You know, it's almost frustrating playing against a team like Orbit because of their style. But I say that in a good way because it's their niche. It's brought them their success. So over there, a good pass being delivered to one scoop. Just tapping out to find it. Oh, Caden, nice punch and the headbutt to enable Hasko to get it. But unfortunately, it was Sneaky Evil playing very smartly down low, recognizing the clear was likely to go in that direction. So well prepared for the grab as one scoop goes for the shot. It's 11-3 from Orbit. And it's a good recovery off of what otherwise was some good defense and brawling from Caden outside. It's about 4:08 left, and this is still round one. Again, thank you everyone for joining us for not only this stream, but the one going on VRML 1. So whether you're watching this live or on the VOD, or you're watching both games at once, still happy to have you all the same. As this one goes to Zenith, he's going to break away, but too tough on the fade. So getting it off the bottom of the floor there is going to be a clear for Genesis as they make their way. Lots of leeches going through from both sides. H-Money getting stunned and then fluttering now into the pocket where a couple players will converge. Hasko and Blenders. Blenders gets it through, has some boosted teammates well at the ready, but actually couldn't get a handle on the disc. So maybe not as prepared as I thought initially there, but still trying to undo that mistake and grab it again, and they do. So Sneaky Evil gets it down to one scoop going to just go right up ahead for a clever passing play, in fact, to Sneaky Evil. Now, I could be wrong, but I am reasonably sure that was an intentional pass. You can take a look at the replay here. I mean, it could have been a hook shot, but just, I don't know. Knowing Orbit, the thing is they're a creative and clever team. So it could have been just a hook shot miss. Maybe one of the players when they watch this VOD can ping me and let me know, but it looked like a fairly intentional pass to the nest off of that corner wall. So, yeah, I don't know. You be the judge. Either or, it resulted in points, and that's the important thing for Orbit. All you care about at the end of the day. Right here, H-Money just passes hands right above his reach. And Sneaky Evil gets it. Sneaky dishing to one scoop. One scoop missing the goal because of the stun from Knife Rich. And now a grab from Zenith. And that one also just a near miss as H-Money slings it to the intercept from Blenders. And I talked about that earlier, and there he is right again. The interceptions, the great reception from Zenith, assisted to Sneaky Evil. Stunned out, no momentum, but still got the pass. Just recognizing the open man and put it right where it needs to be. So 15-3, favoring Orbit. So Genesis, again, on the rollout, trying to get that through, seeing if they can work some offense in, just losing it off the wall, but one scoop getting it back for a deep shot, just a ding. Self-rebound, second attempt, second ding. So two tough misses there, very near misses. But Zenith gets the disc right back again. So persistent, if nothing else. And now maybe getting themselves a goal opportunity, but maybe not, as this will actually... No! Flutter off into the bottom. Now it's going to be contested hard by Zenith, once again playing right on that disc. And then there's Blenders with the intercept right on cue, because that is just... That's what he's done, and that's why their team just bothers other teams so very much, because it's a struggle playing against this Orbit defense. They are tough to stop, this offense from Orbit, rather. And then even when defenses do get stops and do get a clear, Blenders is there for the recovery. And then they go right back on the offense. So it's very annoying to deal with. And credit to Orbit, they do it very well. Genesis here trying to link up now. A few of their players just trying to gather here as the defense rolls in. And see if they can collect it back. Will be taken by Zenith. Some good punches here. Hasko doing the brawling, as quite often is the case. H-Money leaving goal to receive the disc. Back it out towards that clear, but just going to hit the wedge instead. Right back for maybe one more Orbit attempt. If they get this intercept, actually will be ricocheted off the Geo and back into the hands of Zenith, who taps it out. Recognizing Sneaky Evil. Now delivering to one scoop. One scoop going to anchor down for the game-ending, round-ending shot, I should say. It's 18-3 here after the first. And yeah, those extra opportunities for Orbit is their bread and butter. Absolutely. So 18-3. Does look like Hasko may have crashed or is restarting in this 1 minute long intermission that we do have. So we'll see. Hopefully she gets back in before the start so we won't have to get a stat wipe or anything like that. But otherwise, let's head off to the highlights and take a look at the stats just the same. It's Sneaky Evil leading it with 7 points, 2 assists. One Scoop with 5 points, 2 assists, and a save, as well as leading with 12 stuns. Blenders with 1 save, 8 stuns, and who knows how many interceptions. Zenith with 6 points, 1 assist, 1 steal. For Genesis, it's Caden with 3 points and 3 saves. Very nice grabs and that he's had. 3 stuns. Knife Rich with 1 save, 1 steal, 10 stuns. And then for H Money, also 3 saves. So meeting Caden there with identical stats in that department. And then the 5 stuns. So there's some good defense and brawling from Genesis. They were able to get their hands on that disc a few times. But as I said, just the possession time, the second and third chance opportunities that Orbit was able to secure. That's kind of one of the big difference makers there. And now the round is potentially starting, but Hasko is nowhere to be seen quite yet. So 3v4 situation potentially. And surprisingly, no restart. Are they just going to play on? All right. Apparently playing on, so I'm not sure what exactly happened on that end, but we're looking at a 3v4 situation as we finish out this game. Perhaps, I mean, not to take away from Genesis, but I think it's unprecedented to see a team actually win 3v4. And we actually have seen over the preseason and Season 1 a couple times where that's happened and the score is actually somewhat close, but usually it's a tough hill to climb. Being down 1 player in any capacity, it just means 1 less passing partner, 1 less boosting partner. You can't get those double boosted pairs that you get with 4v4, so it will be a very tough here for Genesis. They're going to try their best, though, to just continue on. But that's a tough loss, being a body down. As that one just goes through, maybe off the backboard as a good attempt. He had to get rid of it quick. So, again, 3v4, but Genesis keeping it on this side of the floor for the moment as Orbit backs it out. And looks to make their moves. So that pass getting delivered here. Over to that tunnel, Zenith just eyeing the goal. There's already H Money in there. That pass slightly strong, will not be taken. A good punch here by Caden. Caden now getting stunned. Goes to the back line, and guess who's there? Don't even need to say it, do I? Blenders takes it here and goes to the shoulder area as some cutters go right below and above, and there it goes into the goal dead center. 1 scoop. Just with a good look to Sneaky.
12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Just trying to see if we got any news on that situation, but I don't know. I can imagine maybe only because of the lack of a restart at all, despite this 3v4, that something must have happened. I don't know. I won't try to guess, but you know what? It's a 2. Sorry, a deep 2 from Caden here, tying it up for Genesis.
11, 10,
But yeah, not going to try and guess what happened, but it's just unusual to you know, if it was an unexpected leave, you would figure a restart would occur, but since one has not, something must have gone a little bit astray, I guess. Always tough to, you know, just trying to get those last-minute substitutes. I know Hasko just hopped in at the last minute, and we've seen a few of those this weekend where teams have had to grab really last-minute subs. Going in here from above, maybe, juking Zenith. The creative, crafty moves. Going up 4-2 now. Almost a casual-looking goal from Zenith without someone diving out at him. Just maneuvering around the backboard, and the soft shot into it, but despite that, it's still just a 2-point game. 4-2 here. It's still about 7 minutes left in the second round. First one was taken by Orbit 18-3. So if nothing else, the pacing just really slowing down to open up this round. And that very well may be in the benefit, honestly, of Genesis. You know, not allowing Orbit as they go in for a 2 to tie it. There it goes. 4-4 here. Caden to Knife Rich. Knifing in for the goal. But yeah, that slower play will be a benefit towards Genesis. Like if they actually can get control of the disc and they can find those accurate passes, back passes, and waste some clock, that's probably to their benefit, because you're not going to allow Orbit, who is very heavy-handed on the offensive end, not allowing them, as that one does get allowed through, however, right from one scoop. But I was just going to say, not allowing, you know, an endless barrage of scores. Of course, that's going to be a tough thing to maintain for 6 full minutes going forward, because, yeah, being down a person and just knowing the kind of the style of play that Orbit, you know, typically practices, is H1E just dodges over, jumping. But intercepting is Blenders. The Blenders going for that ramp shot, bowling ball. Will it fall? No, very close to the goal, but bouncing off of the post and taking at the wedge, as Zenith goes for one of those low momentum, no momentum, and gets it in there for the slam dunk. So had 2 different options. Zenith was stopped and ready for a pass, but one scoop instead hit Sneaky Evil, cutting in from that outer edge and getting the 2 points. So 9-4. Despite this 3v4, Genesis still hanging in there in round 2. Knife Rich now rolling out here. So this time switching up the QB. Normally it's been H Money for a lot of it, QBing, and actually just losing the disc off of some Geo, or it looked like just kind of an unforced one there. Tough bounce it took and into the hands of one scoop. There's Zenith again, just lining up for that no momentum shot, and that we've seen that now 3 different times in this round at least, or in this match at least. So it's definitely a purposeful thing, and I can only imagine, I don't know who started that kind of shot, but I first saw it, I think, from Blenders back in Pizza League Season 2, so around last summer or so. That's when I started seeing it, like, with any kind of purposefulness and regularity, where they would actively break right in front of the goal and then wait for a pass to be delivered, essentially. Or sometimes, if it's Blenders, he'll just roll right up with the one-on-one as they get that 3 maybe to fall, but no. And Sneaky Evil, the putback, also not quite. Still going to have a lot of time to work with, but now finally getting back off the heads or the hands. Either way, H Money, good play, getting back on the defense. So maybe a little bit lax there for Orbit. Relaxing on that attempt, and because of that, could not find some more points. And right back now, H Money will go for the 1, actually 2-on-1. Happy with that one. A nice stun from his teammates to enable the shot. So 11-6.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Just want to take a look too at the possession time, and again, this a little bit it's kind of skewed because of the 3-on-4 right now. So keeping that in mind, but even then, you can still see, I mean, 60+% as that one just goes in, and that's 100% accurate, right? Dead center just about for one scoop. But yeah, you can see, I mean, possession time, 65% of it. Almost more than a 3-minute advantage favoring Orbit here across the 2 rounds so far. And then it's resulted in just that, the shots taken 25-5, and that's kind of the story of the first round, and especially in the second round, although, again, not really to the fault of Genesis at all, being down a player, as Sneaky tries to get that to one scoop. One scoop does find it, has 2 different options, and finds another great shot from up close. This time Zenith not stopping, but instead sliding right through with a spin dunk.
11, 10, 9, 8,
So varying it up there, just knowing the bag full of tricks that Orbit has on the offensive end and as a team. They have a lot of nice set plays. Again, as I said, for their team, they play like a team that's been together a lot longer than they actually have. It's interesting to see that, but in a very good way. Here it goes though, Caden working with what they've got, but couldn't quite find a grab on the wall and losing the handles on the disc as it gets sent through on the clear. That will be over into the pocket, where a few players do recover for Orbit. And it's Sneaky looking for that clear, but there's one deep in the goal, maybe looking to dive out, and yeah, he does there. So H Money sending one, but again, great positioning there this time. Zenith, the shot, the gentle lay in from Blenders, and as I said, the OG of the break shot. or whatever you do want to call it.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
So a minute and a half left. 18-6. Orbit looking to close this one out in the 2 rounds, as Genesis just tries to get as many points on the scoreboard as they can. Will be Knife Rich with some very crafty maneuvers, just dodging through and almost dancing with a pair of Orbit players. Just as well, H Money trying, but maybe a little too slow on the waltz there, so hitting that wall and 1 scoop going for the shot. Will not be in, and then slinged out by H Money deep into the back line, but still recovered here by Blenders. Blenders and Sneaky going for that train, but Knife Rich was well prepared for it, so at least denies that train opportunity. And another stun this time from H Money, so some good brawls from Genesis. Knocking this disc right back into the other end, but right back to Orbit instead, so 30 seconds left. We're at a time now where we're just looking for maybe 1 more shot coming. They're trying to go for the train again. Orbit ever persistent, but getting derailed twice now by those stuns. And Knife Rich now trying to make the play, but the shot. and the humor. Not going to talk about it, so you know what? I won't either. But 1 scoop, 1 last shot, and that will conclude this round. And a tough loss there, especially being down the player for Genesis, but credit to them, seem to be in good enough spirits and not too distraught over it. But yeah, losing out, needing a substitute last minute and then kind of losing their sub. And so whatever the reasons, they just opted to continue playing and did, in fact, buy the win for Orbit, who will continue to roll on ahead and impressing record-wise and score-wise across their matches. So, stats were wiped, but you at least got to look at them on the stream. For Genesis, the 5-7 record now, they were all evened up at 5-5 before this match had these 2 matches had occurred. So not the best Sundays of them, but again, long season. We're only at the halfway point now, so definitely not something that Genesis can't rebound off of, and I'm sure they will. They've won 5 games; they'll get some more. Orbit, though, they'll continue to roll, now doubling up on their loss. They've lost 4 games, but they've won 8 now. So a very, very healthy record for them, with wins over the likes of Genesis tonight, and then over Instinct and Nebula and Wireless Jacks earlier in the week. Right now, actually, Orbit has won like 5 of their last 6 matches. The last match they lost, last 2 matches they lost were against Infinite and Kangarillas, and we all know how great of teams they are right there in the Master Division, Gold and Master Division. So Orbit right up there with it, trying to contest that Gold and Master spots, and we'll see how this unfolds over the coming weeks, months. But yeah, as always, great to see and fun to see these teams develop. Now, looking at our schedule real quickly here, because we do have some more games, rest assured. It's Sunday after all. And there you go. So Genesis and Orbit just concluding. And we had Guinness and Deception at the same time. In about half an hour from now, we have 2 more matches starting at the same time. On one channel, we have VRML 1. I'm guessing here. We do have Legends and Ignite. And that's going to be a game that surely excites. 6 Foot Over and Olympus starting at the same time, probably on VRML Channel 2. But yes, both will be casted and covered, so no worries on that end. Following those matches, in about an hour and a half from now, we have Invictus versus Nay Plus Ultra, Chaos versus There Is No Team, and then that will be the conclusion of our Sunday. So still a handful of matches ahead, but we're in the home stretch mighty soon. So until next time, I've been Palidore, this has been VR Master League, and I'll see you again, hopefully, in 30 minutes. Have a good evening.